I'm Reed Becker with the Cape Cod Baseball League, and joining me today is former YD Red Sox Mike Boeve. Mike just completed his junior year season at University of Nebraska Omaha. First, Mike, thanks for joining us today. But I want to start with what in overall, when you think of your time here at the Cape Cod Baseball League, what's your main takeaway from it?
Yeah, the relationships I made out there. Had a great host family. Really got to experience, the Cape, and then my relationships with my teammates and the coaches there, and of course some fans. Playing for YD, you meet some real diehard fans, and that's something I'll remember.
What was your experience like with your host family?
It was awesome. The Moquins up there, they, being from Nebraska, growing up in Nebraska my whole life, I remember driving in the first day and realizing that their house was right on the coast. It was probably about 100 feet from the ocean. There was their own little beach there, on their dead end street, and they had two great dogs when I was there, and I couldn't have asked for a better host family. Being in the Cape Cod League, one of the unique things is not staying in hotels, not staying overnight, and one of the things they provided me and my roommate was just great meals after every single game, whether it was a road game waiting for us or it was an off day or a home game where they ate with us. It was really a great experience.
Do they still keep in touch?
They do, yes, and they, I think we were their second year hosting, and they're hosting again this year. So
What would you say is the biggest thing that playing in the Cape Cod League taught you on the field?
yeah, I think just had to be confident in myself. Um, that's something that with baseball being a very mental game, it's super important. And I think, especially coming from a smaller school like Omaha, like I did, it's kind of rare to play those big schools. But when you're out there, you're obviously playing the best talent in the country from any schools. So I think it's something where you learn how to stack up, how you stack up against that, and you can take it with you, or at least I did, into the spring season.
Now, you mentioned the adjustment period of coming from the middle of the country in Nebraska to the Northeast. Just how difficult or how did that process go for you transitioning to a different part of the country?
Yeah, it was interesting. I kind of had it before with the summer before I played in the Northwoods up in Minnesota, which obviously isn't as much of a culture shock as it is up there. But once again, that was on the water on the coast of Lake Superior, and so I was kind of used to it, and I knew what to expect. But once again, I think having great teammates, great coaches, great host family, like I mentioned, really helped me get used to that. Because it certainly took a few days, a few weeks to really, kind of settle in living out there.
How big of an influence did YD manager Scott Pickler have on you?
Huge influence. I probably haven't met a guy with more baseball knowledge and experience than him, and great assistance too. Going into summer ball, you really, you kind of expect just to go out there and play. Not really get coached or too much instruction, and it was a pleasant surprise to learn so much about the game and about other things. Playing for Pick.
And then staying on the field then, was there any adjustment for you coming over to playing in the wood bat league? Obviously, in the college level, it's more aluminum. So how was that adjustment?
Yeah, I don't see, I don't notice a huge adjustment from metal to wood. Obviously, the sweet spot's probably a little smaller. You got to square it up pretty good, and it's not as much pop as a metal bat. But I swung wood bats a lot when I was a kid, and it's something I really like doing. I kind of like the crack of a wood bat. It makes you feel like you're playing in the big leagues. So I kind of really like the adjustment.
And what would you say you're going to miss most from Cape Cod?
Just my teammates and my coaches once again. The relationships made. I met some great friends out there, and still keep in touch with some of the coaches. So definitely that.
And I have to ask, because every time you go into a YD Red Sox game, the super fan Brady was always there and present on the field around the ballpark. Just how big of an influence or impact did he have on the team or just you individually?
Brady was awesome. Baseball's a long season. especially summer ball. Playing every day, some hot days, but you never saw Brady show up to a game in a bad mood. You really can't. You really can't describe the impact. It seems weird, but a little kid like that can have on a team, just morale wise, and he really makes everyone enjoy showing up to the field.
What would you say is your outside of Red Wilson Field was your favorite stadium in Cape Cod to play at?
Um, I'd say Chatham's. I like playing at Chatham.
How come?
More of a stadium feel. I
Hmm.
kind of like the hill out in right field. Having fans out there too.
And then just lastly, then, well, first, actually, two more. What's your favorite memory game wise? Is there a specific game that stands out from playing in Cape Cod that you remember the most?
Um, Probably our first playoff game. We played it at Red Wilson Field at home, and obviously there's no lights there. So
Hmm.
we were pushing, kind of the sunset mark, and obviously a playoff game, you want to continue it, you want to finish it, but I think we stopped in the eighth inning, and then the next day we had to play. I don't even think we hit. I think we had to get 3 outs,
Yep.
and that was it. So I think we did that at like 11 or noon, and then that same day we went up to Orleans and played there too.
Was there any terror aware of playing two games at once that day and then traveling right after to play another game, or is that just kind of the grind and regularity of it?
Not necessarily. I'd say that's just kind of part of baseball, and it certainly helps when you win those games too. So,
And then just lastly, before I let you go, what's next?
hopefully, get a chance to go play professionally somewhere, and just continue playing baseball for as long as I can.
Well, Mike, we thank you so much for joining us today and best of luck. That's Mike Boeve, former YD Red Sox, and I'm Reed Becker with the Cape Cod Baseball League, and stay tuned for more content down the line.